Hi everyone, Professor Gustin here. And when I last left you we were in Start Here. And so now we're going to go to the syllabus. And the video that I'm making right now will be the first thing that we post here. And obviously you found it, or else you wouldn't be listening to this. The other thing you'll notice is there is a syllabus for lab right here, a link. And on your version, you also have another thing that says Microbiology Online Lab Syllabus. For all of your assignments, what I'm in the process of doing is I have Word documents posted. I'm in the process of also posting those exact same things as PDF documents. And so probably most of you know the difference, but just in case you don't, a Word document is something that you can edit. And a PDF document is one that you can't edit. And the reason why I post both is because some students want to be able to type into their documents and some students don't. Some people handwrite on them. And so the idea is that sometimes on some people's computers, the formatting gets all messed up. And I spend a lot of time trying to keep formatting looking really good. It's important to me that every page in your lab book is readable, there's spaces to write, the arrows are in the right spots and all that. So sometimes in these Microsoft Word documents, by the time it gets from me to you, sometimes the formatting gets messed up. And so if that happens to you, I would consider using the PDF, which is going to have stable formatting. So the two documents that you'll be seeing on all your assignments will be the same content. It's just a Word document versus a PDF. So let's click on this syllabus. Oh, let me back up. I want to show you one thing. For all the assignments I give you, there'll be a little box right here. And I put these little boxes here for you just to check off. Oh, I copied the syllabus. I put it in my notebook already. So I'm done. There's nothing about this checkbox that gets to me or tells anybody or tells anything that you've completed the assignment or anything. These are just for your purposes. So use them as whatever way works for you. So here we go, Microbiology Lab Syllabus. And what you want to do is go to this little download, and notice mine went up there. Yours might do something a little bit different. And I'm going to enlarge just so you guys can see it really well. Okay, so here's our lab syllabus. Remember, lecture and lab are kind of taught as two separate courses. And so you have I have a lab syllabus separate from the lecture. So there I am, Professor Gustin. There's my email. And most of the way we're going to communicate is through email. In fact, if I have anything to say to you that's important or not important, but any way that I'm going to communicate with you, I'm going to email you. So if you are not checking, in particular, your CCC college email, that's the email address I'm going to be using. So communicate with me through that email address and check it a couple times a day, because something might have happened that that there's a change to something, or I can't imagine what it could be, but there might be a reason why I need to get in touch with you personally. And if you're not checking your email, it's going to be, you might miss things. So the most of the way that we'll communicate is through email, and I try to respond quickly. Sometimes on the weekend or late at night, I'll go, I think I can wait till tomorrow, and I won't email right back. But I try to get back to you as quickly as possible, and I do check it a few times a day. I have an office location in Schuyler Hall on CCC campus, and if you want to meet there and have talk to me, I'm glad to do that. But otherwise, we can do it other ways. I don't have specific office hours, but if you need to talk to me, I'll make sure we have a mutual time that we're available. I'm very flexible, and so we can meet in my office. We can meet virtually with Google Meet, and you can tell me I'd like to meet virtually, and I can send you a link, and we can meet at both of our conveniences. Otherwise, we can just go back and forth by email. Whatever works for you, let me know, and I hope to talk to some of you. I always enjoy when I talk to my online students. Course materials are the exact same course materials you'll be using for your lecture course. So you don't need to buy additional materials for lab. The format of your lab course is we have these lab sessions, and I'll show you on the further along in the syllabus that we have all the lab sessions and the activities outlined. Each week, remember we have 5 weeks of class, each week is divided into a part 1 and a part 2. Part 1 assignments are due on Wednesday at 11:59 p.m., 1 minute before midnight. The exception is this week, well, I'm assuming you're looking at this week 1, but the exception is week 1, where the assignments are due on Thursday because we had a holiday starting the semester. We had a Monday, we didn't have official classes. So Thursday, week 1, is part 1 due date. All the others are Wednesday, a minute before midnight. Part 2 of the week, the assignments are going to be due on Sundays, and that's also at 11:59 p.m., 1 minute before midnight, except week 5, where they're due on Saturday, and that's because the semester ends. And, you know, we're done at the end of the day on Sunday, so we need to collect the grades on Saturday. We need to be able to communicate with you on Sunday if there's any problems, and the course is over. So if you don't do your week 5 assignments by the end of the day Saturday, you're sunk. That's it. And we will remind you of this multiple times. Your lab assignments, and these are the things I'm going to use to collect your grade, consist of virtual labs, your lab assessments are virtual labs, lab assignments, lab quizzes, and lab practicals. Full credit is earned for the virtual labs and the lab assignments if they're completed by the due date. Both of these are things that are designed by McGraw-Hill Connect. So these will be electronic labs and assessments that you'll be working on. So if you just complete it, you get 100%, and as long as you complete it by the due date. Lab quizzes are on the labs that you do for each lab handout, and they're open book. So typically what you'll do is you'll do a lab, you'll fill in your lab handout, and you can use that lab handout to answer the questions on the lab quiz. Lab practicals are proctored using something called Respondus. Now, a lab practical is going to be something that I put on Brightspace, and it's a test. It has lots of pictures of things that you would have seen from the activities you did in lab, and you'll use those pictures and answer questions about them. And these are closed book, and that's why I'm going to be using this proctoring program called Respondus. What Respondus does, and you'll learn more about it as we get closer, but you must have a computer that has a camera and audio, and it records as you're doing that. And then if there's anything that says, this person was talking a lot, or they look like they were using another device or something like that, it'll send me an alert to say, go check out that recording and see if anything funny happened. A big important thing is right here. Chromebooks do not work reliably with Respondus. If you have a Chromebook that you're using for this course, everything we do in this course should work on the Chromebook except when you take these proctored exams. So it's the lab practicals and the exams in lecture are going to be proctored by Respondus, and you need to find something other than a Chromebook to take that exam. You're going to have to plan ahead and find a place. CCC Campus has all sorts of computers you can either borrow or you can come to campus and use. You might have a friend or a different kind of computer that you can use to do your proctored exams. In lab, that's going to be your lab practicals. You'll hear more about that as we go on. If you miss assignments, tests, or quizzes, which means you miss the due date, they're all due by the date the date listed on the lab schedule. Late assignments will be accepted until the next scheduled due date, but you can only earn 50% of the possible points. So if you do an activity that's worth 10 points and you get a 10 out of 10, but it's late, I'm going to change it to 5 out of 10. Okay. No points will be earned for assignments that are handed in past the deadline. Now, lucky for you, there's a lot of assignments in here that you get, all 100% on. So even if you miss a couple, it doesn't necessarily impact your grade. So if something happens and you're sick for a couple days and you can't do a couple of your virtual labs, it's okay. It should have very minimal impact on your grade. But if you chronically miss things, then it's going to be have an impact on your grade. So the course grades for this course, microbiology lecture and lab, you get 1 grade for both combined. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be recording your lab grades in Brightspace in our lab section. But at the end of each week, once I've graded after the Sunday, where the part 2 assignments are due and I've got everything graded, I will put your grades into your lecture section. And so your lecture grade will show you your total percent for the course. Let me say that again. At the end, or maybe at the start of each week after week 1, I will update your lab grades into your lecture section of Brightspace. So when you look at your lecture section grade, you'll be able to see your total grade for the course as you're moving on. Here is the schedule and all the points of everything you're going to do in lab. Okay, so week 1, part 1, which I'm going to direct you to right after you're done doing this video. The lab is called Lab Safety and Introduction to the Microbiology Lab. You'll see a place where you can print that out. And within that document, you're going to see there's all these virtual labs. And I put the initials because the words are too big to write out. There's a bunch of virtual labs. Each are worth 2 points. And there's a lab quiz, which is worth 6 points. And you'll access all of this through your Brightspace page. Notice I put the due date there. They're due Thursday at 5:30 at 11:59 p.m., 1 minute before midnight. And here we go, week 1, part 2. Some weeks there is a lecture assignment, which is an adaptive learning assignment, again through McGraw-Hill Connect. You'll get used to those. There's a bunch of virtual labs. Notice this week there's not a lab quiz. There's no lab quiz. It just is, I'm trying to get 20 points a week. That's what I had to do to get 20 points. Sometimes I'll have a student email me and say, oh, wait, you didn't post the lab quiz. I don't have the lab quiz for week 1, part 2. And what I'm going to say to you is go look at the syllabus. You'll notice that there's not a lab quiz in there. Now, if you say week 2, part 1, I didn't post a lab quiz, but it's on the syllabus, then I made a mistake. So I'm grateful when you let me know that I've made mistakes. So keep your eyes on the syllabus, and it will tell you what's going on. All right, so you're going to follow this along. I'm going to open each one of these sections as we go along. So each half a week, you're going to do another one of these. You'll notice that at week 5, your lab instructor is going to switch to Dave Pindell. I don't think you'll even notice it because the course, I'm designing the whole course. He's just going to be the person to go to in case you have questions. So we'll come back to that. I'll remind you of that when we get closer. The other thing right here, I just wrote LA means lab assignment. That's something that's in McGraw-Hill Connect. There's the LA. And VL are virtual labs, and there are lots of those in McGraw-Hill Connect. I think that's it. That's it on the syllabus. So if you didn't do it already, go print this out. Put some holes in it, get it in your 3-ring binder, and go to week 1, part 1.